Charlotte of Botsy, and I have grown up in Providence. I'm an alum of our public schools, and I am a community organizer. I'm here not on behalf of an organization, but I'm here on behalf of my community, your constituents. I'm thankful to be in continued solidarity with those who spoke before me, and I am thankful for the framework they have laid out in their introductions. They have expertly defined what we mean when we say defund the police. There's a lot of confusion around what we mean when we say this, but in reality, both national and local governments advocate for defunding services all the time. And not only do you all advocate for the defunding of services, you do it. You defund social services all the time. You defund schools, you defund hospitals, community health centers, programs for low-income communities all the time. You are experts at defunding. It is what you do. It's just that now that this pandemic is showing the ramifications of such excessive defunding, especially towards our healthcare and education sectors, even though they are the most crucial sectors in our community, both in and out of global pandemics. Essential resources are defunded all the time. The government just calls them tax cuts. So show us how good you are at defunding. When we say defund the police, we mean fund our futures, fund community wellness, fund young futures, our students, our schools. When we say defund the police, we mean stop making taxpayers pay for the already existing violences that come with policing and all the violences that are yet to come. Some concrete steps. As Vanessa set out, we need time to actually have this conversation, but if you want to get started, some concrete steps. 1, suspend the use of paid administrative leave for cops under investigation. Withhold pensions and rehiring process for cops involved in excessive force cases. 3, prioritize spending on community health, education, affordable housing, and 4, reduce the size of the police force. These are just a very short few of the tangible steps that we can take to ultimately decrease funding of the Providence Police. Our collective goal should be the elimination for the need of police, period, in totality, and the abolition of the prison system. While we work to do this, we create lasting alternatives to punishment and incarceration, which we know by our own 13th Amendment is modern day slavery. That should be the collective goal. It should not be controversial in the slightest means. Remember, abolishing slavery was once an extremely controversial and unthinkable, unimaginable idea. This country fought an entire war to preserve it. And this country is still reeling from the effects of the never rectifying and acknowledging the lasting damage of slavery. And we see this trickle down in all parts of our society, especially within our police force, most primarily within our police force and most predominantly in our prison systems. And it's not just about a few bad apples. The police are the problem. The system itself is riddled with sickness. The apples are all bad because the system itself is bad. We saw how a few bad apples ruined an entire budget hearing yesterday. We see how there is so much contention just at the declaration that Black Lives Matter. We are asking for the end of anti-Black racism, and we are either being met with militarized police force in response, or trolling, or violence, or murder, right? Ending racism should not be out of context feel-good quotes from murdered civil rights leaders or performative statements from corporations that aren't doing the actual real work to end racism. One of the ways we work to end racism, which should be a concern for everyone, not just Black people, not just people of color, one of the ways we can work to end racism is ending police violence. And one of the ways that we end police violence is by defunding the police. And one of the ways that we can defund the police and work towards an abolitionist future is by taking those steps I have mentioned and looking into the policy done by abolitionists for the past 100 years. And that is how we can begin to tackle just, the tip of the iceberg for the way the world is like turning on anti-Black racism. And that is that. I yield my time. Thank you.